Right about here, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get yourself and your soul together.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? It's time for the Chris and Andre Show.
Oh, yeah. So Marvel, Disney laid off a bunch of people at Marvel Studios. I think it was, 1,000 Disney employees being laid off. And the bulk of them are Marvel's visual department. So it could also be AI related.
I think they learned after Secret Wars not to do that.
Yeah, I think they did. I think you're right.
But I think some of the... All right, here's what I think. Some jobs will go away, probably not AI related, but I think that for some production, you probably want to outsource it. Like, it doesn't make sense to do a lot of things in-house.
Which is funny because Disney's been going around acquiring so many other companies to bring them in-house. And now it's like, well, you'd actually be better off getting that done outside of your own corporation. It's like, but there's nobody left. We already bought everybody.
It's like a bad G.I. Joe episode. I don't know, man. The acquisition, like just cycle that we're in doesn't make sense to me.
No.
You know, before we started recording tonight, I saw a video on YouTube, Affinity 3.2. I'm not going to use Affinity. Like, I just don't trust Canva. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I've committed. I'm sorry, GIMP, but I've committed to GIMP again. So like I'm just gonna I'm gonna go down the path that in certain places that I can feel confident I'm not gonna have to do a lot of like reworking of things, or I can increase my skill set. I say that to say this: a lot of the layoffs are because people get too comfortable in their jobs. From a person that's been laid off twice. Companies don't care about you. Like, we got to stop pretending that's a thing. They're like Pendo just laid off 10% of its workforce, which is going to hurt, like, you know, Wake County. Oracle, they had a number of layoffs, and they just keep adding up. The layoffs are stacking up, and it's not AI related. It's because of stock pressure. So whether it's tariffs, whether it's the secret recession that we're in, I like the video you sent.
Unemployment is around 4%. Job growth appears to be strong on the surface, and the GDP is still growing. But if this is true, why does it feel like everything is falling apart? And that's because the recession isn't coming. It's already here. The data just hasn't caught up yet.
Because I think we've been in a recession since like COVID, to be honest with you.
I don't think we ever really recovered.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Like you were talking about the supply chain stuff earlier, and that's an area that really has not fully recovered from what happened during COVID. And I think there's a lot of the economy that still, you know, I mean, like the pressure that was put on it in terms of inflation and everything, and how that was kind of handled for a while. But you know, now it's like, in a way, right, under Biden, we had this softish landing, and then, I mean, the last 18 months have managed, like, if there was any chance that we were going to like start to climb out of the recession that we were clearly in, it was like, no, fuck it, let's just plunge ourselves straight head first into the ground.
Let's make it really hard.
It's like tariffs, and then let's go to war. And
bro, I just paid $95 in gas last week.
Yeah,
$95.20. I was like, damn, this is a problem.
Yeah.
This is So that was $23 more than what I usually take to fill up my car. And remember, I fill up my car on a quarter of a tank. So it's like, yo.
And I mean, I don't put, I go to Sheetz and get the 88 unleaded. That's 30 cents cheaper than the 87 unleaded. And I'm still paying probably $15 more every time that I have to fill up my tank than I used to.
Right. The one thing,
and I fill up when it's completely empty, like running on fumes.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm too afraid to. I want to have like zombie, like movement amount of distance. The layoffs are pretty bad, and I'm still a revolutionary about this. And I think that if you get laid off and you have, this is the way I look at it. If you have a skill that can't be easily duplicated, you need to figure out a way to work for yourself. We need to reset the system. I don't know why we haven't done that yet, but we need to bring back innovation, entrepreneurial spirit, and then just like dick over the people that are dicking us over. It's not for everybody, but I think if enough people can build companies that are meant to be companies and not just money machines, like with the exit strategy, we solve a big deal, a big part of the problem. Yeah. Especially developers. Like it bothers me when developers get laid off and get another job and plan on staying there until the next layoff.
Yeah, it was one of the interesting things in that video about the secret recession was talking about the jobs numbers and the way that they look at, if a full-time salaried worker gets laid off and has to pick up two, gig work jobs like Uber and delivering food or whatever, that counts as +1 net job creation.
But what's ironic about that's what was called years ago underemployment.
Right.
And you only hear about underemployment when there's a Democrat in office.
Right. Well, you only hear complaints about a lot of things when there's a Democrat in office, but
to be fair, okay, yeah, that's true. But I think that's the hypocrisy of our system, right? Yep. Whether that's corporate media, whether that's politicians. They pick and choose which facts they want to highlight, and it doesn't, it's not a complete representation of what's happening.
Right, so, and they fudge the numbers, right? They fudge the way that things are measured or what number it is that we're looking at. It's like we've talked about before. I know you're a big fan of statistics in general and how useful they are. But it's true. If you really want to, you are able to manipulate a lot of data in a way to make it seem like it's whatever you want, and unless you're speaking to somebody that is also familiar with the data and is able to do their own true analysis, then it's very difficult to have a frank conversation about any of that stuff.
And that's what's frustrating. The fact that people are for the secret recession. Is that what the title of the video was called?
Hidden recession or secret recession? Yeah. I can't remember. Yeah.
We'll put a link in the bottom. It's pretty interesting. Or when I say we, I mean Chris. It's if you're always using 12 months prior's data, nothing you say can help you pivot, right? Yep. The only people that know it possibly are ADP or independent reporting companies. But the underemployment is bad. Okay, let me get to my point. My point is this. In Wake County, North Carolina, in Cary, Apex, Morrisville, the median salary is like 6 figures. So let's say, just for simple math, 115 to 120, right? Now let's do the other 90 or 99 counties. The only one that comes close is Charlotte in Mecklenburg County.
Yep.
That's it. I just saw a mayor in Fayetteville, like thinking about wanting to get a data center approved because less than 10% of the population makes six figures. And they're going to bring in new jobs. And I'm like, well, this guy is highly unqualified to be the mayor of your town, and you should definitely vote him out of office because there's a higher chance they're going to import those jobs and not really impact raising the average income in Fayetteville. So he's underqualified to be the mayor of Fayetteville.
I wonder if he was part of the group that signed off on that $14 million sports complex.
He is, and I think that's it is kind of, but it's not national politics. Yeah. But yeah, we're trying not to do that, but that doesn't help the people in your community, right? When you make poor decisions like that. The mayor of Fayetteville should not get reelected because he's unqualified to make good decisions. Yeah. Like Apple is building a campus in RTP with the promise of bringing jobs. Well, they're going to bring jobs because that campus is not going to be your typical Apple campus. Yeah. That's going to be for people that are way smarter than most like engineers that graduate from state. It's not going to be a first year like job. You have to probably have a PhD. It's not going to do what people think it. I mean, it'll bring some recognition, blah, blah, all those cool things, but you're not going to uplift any percentage of this population. They're going to be transplants.
And even if you did, it would be a shuffling up, right, not like a leap, right? Which, I mean, the shuffle would be nice to get, but still, yeah, you're limited in what you're going to get out of that, especially when you look at what you've given up to get it.
Right.
Like the tax breaks and everything that they've given to them, and they haven't even hired job one.
It makes me so angry. That's why we don't talk about politics.
That's one reason, yeah.
Yeah, that's one reason. But the topic of layoffs it's happening, and we constantly talk about it. It's like these companies don't care about you. And I know it's hard to say it, even if you like or even love your job. You are like expendable. Like that is a fact of life.
Yeah, and I think far too often, I don't know, maybe not, because I feel like, my generation and like the generation after me, there was a lot of like the job hopping for titles and promotions and pay raises and all of that, and so
you guys made it worse.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, totally. But I think there's not that same sense of loyalty in necessarily, and I know that's not like homogenous across the entire generation, but I don't know. I mean, like, I think personally, right, like I've been fortunate enough to stay, I think at least like 3 years at all but one of the jobs that I've had. And I mean, I was at D-Zone for 7.5 years. I've been at this job for almost 7 years. I was at Galaxy Cinema for 3.5, 4 years, something like that. So, but I think you're right in that, like, at the end of the day, I never had any misconception that organization or like the company itself cared about me in a way that would exceed their need to make money, right? Or their reason for being in business.
Right.
That, like, at the end of the day, if I fucked up enough, they were going to get rid of me. Or if it was, if it was convenient or what made the most financial sense for them.
But I think I agree with what you're saying, but I watch videos of people that have just gotten recently laid off, and there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Right.
there's a hint that the supposed AI layoffs are, like, companies are regretting it because it's half big tech. Like, seriously, like, the wow factor is not there. But if I were in that position, I would be making a plan to not work for somebody the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And there's enough demand out there, right? That you can do that. And it's not, it's not easy necessarily.
And it's not for everybody.
Yeah. But there's enough people that I think find themselves in that position and immediately are like, well, what am I going to do? I have to go get another job somewhere else. And then, especially in this market, when there aren't that many people that are hiring, what are you supposed to do, right? I mean, again, you're going to go get multiple gig work situations to support your family and whatever else it is that you need to do. I hate it for those people when they find themselves in that position, but if you're spending that much time doing the gig work, like, figure out how you set just a little bit of that time aside to build something,
And I get that it's not for everybody. Like, I don't want to ignore that fact, but if enough people, like, that it was for, were able to, like, if we were to build a brand new, like, string of companies out of this impending disaster, we would be okay. Like, I think we would be okay. I saw this thing. It's kind of related. That it's two parts. One, the Pentagon is asking car manufacturers to make weapons now, which is so World War II. And secondly, a executive at, I believe it was Ford, said that they didn't want to let Chinese vehicles into the U.S. because they would drive the prices down. And I was like, well, that's very anti-capitalist. Yeah. So
communism or socialism for me, but not for thee.
Right. So for me, it's like, I look at, like, the factors that I care about in the economy, and I think if we have, like, a public recession, it's going to be bad for a lot of people. Like, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm not a financial analyst, so I'm not going to pretend like I can foresee exactly what's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if this go around is significantly worse than what we went through in '08. I think there's
whoa. You don't have to be a financial analyst to understand that. Like, I am not going to let you sit here and try to, like,
not financial advice.
It's true.
It looks really bad.
Yeah, it's like, what are we talking about?
Like we said, right? It's not. This is not something that's going to happen. This is something that is already happening and has been happening for some time now. And it's just a matter of when everybody starts to recognize it and kind of admit it that this is what's going on. But until then, yeah, I mean, it's the.
So if the video you sent to me was true, 18 months, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you do the math backwards, inflation has gone up over 18 months. Jobs creation is, like, fell off the map over 18 months. By definition, somebody in our government should have reported we're in a recession, but we know that's not going to happen.
Right. And
so,
was there somewhere you were going with that? Like, yeah, yes, I agree. Nobody in our government is going to talk about this because they can't.
Right. So it's like it's
yeah, it's depressing, is what it is in some ways. I mean, or at least just like it's frustrating to sit here and watch people just drive this right off a cliff when, you know, we were already like teetering on the edge to begin with.
Right.
It's like you all you had to do was gently turn back to the left, and instead you just jerked it hard to the right.
Well, I think for me, what frustrates me is it's just the lack of concern about the layoffs. The only reason we know about the layoffs is I think most states, if you're going to lay off like 10% of your company, you have to report it to like labor commissions. And if that weren't a law, granted, that law does nothing. It does absolutely nothing.
It literally just means you have to report it. That's it.
Right. It's the most
and we may look into it.
Right? It's like the most feckless crap on the planet. It's like, yeah, I just have to tell them that we're doing it, and it's okay. And most states and municipalities give so many concessions for these companies. I think back to Advanced Auto in North Carolina, and the state gave them so much to put their headquarters on Six Forks Road. And they fucked us.
Yep. Just
fucked us. We're closing stores, we're laying off our staff, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just so like infuriating. I just can't.
Well, and especially because you know that none of that is guaranteed. Right? When you sign those deals, you know that none of the promises from the corporation are guaranteed. And yes, maybe if you are lucky, you can claw back some of the breaks that you gave them if they should default on certain aspects of it. But even then, how much are you spending on litigation, going to court to have that be paid out? And you've still lost all of that time and effort and the development, what could have gone in where that was, that could have produced revenue and jobs and all of that stuff. But not all of us can understand the time value of money, so...
Oh, yeah. I don't remember who wrote that comment, but God, Jesus, Lord have mercy. I think back to VinFast, and I'm actually glad VinFast was able to meet their production schedule. It's cool to see VinFast vehicles in North Carolina. I was just in Florida to see one of our sons and his wife. I only go to Florida because my kids are there. Nothing against Florida, but I only go there because my kids are there. I would skip it every other day.
Every time.
Just wouldn't do that. But anyway, it's like driving around Orlando. I don't know where people work. Like, I really don't. It's like you either work at Disney, you work at something that supports Disney or Universal, but it's not like people have normal jobs. No. There's a bunch of billboards for attorneys. It's just not it's not a city built for the people that live there, basically. And that bothers me. Right? Yeah. When I drive around most places in North Carolina, I understand what people do to support the town, and they probably live there. But going to places like Florida, where it's like a hodgepodge of, and I'm not trying to shit on Florida. I'm sure somebody's listening from Florida. They're like, this guy's pretty mean to Florida. I'm not saying that, but I think that we've got to stop repeating the same patterns, right? Because for the sake of our children and the future of this country, hopefully we can kind of figure some stuff out. So anyway.
I mean, yeah. I was in Florida, January. I had to go down there to Orlando. And yeah, it is strange. I mean, and granted, like the Disney area in particular, it is Disney or Universal Studios or nothing.
Right.
and everything around there, even the convention center, is kind of built around the idea that that's all right there. Most of the stuff outside of that is not very good, honestly. Like even the stuff that's outside of Disney Springs and whatnot, the restaurants and stuff in the greater Orlando area, not that great. And so yeah, like it just, even I remember a few years ago when we went to Disney World, we stayed in an Airbnb, and it was one of those neighborhoods where they had, like, the HOA had gotten together to ban Airbnbs and short-term rentals because that had become a huge portion of the whole, like, neighborhood, basically. And when we got there, the instructions were like, tell them that you are just coming to visit a friend and that you're going to stay, but not for the whole night. And then go back in the morning, or then we'll have a parking pass for you in the house when you get here so that you can park. So you basically have to lie to security to get through.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But even driving through that neighborhood, you could just tell that most of the people there were short-term rentals. They were not, it was not meant for long-term, or not meant for, but it wasn't being used as full-time residents.
It's residential. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Wow. I have nothing for that. Go Florida.
Go Florida. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard not to bring up politics because like
really
a lot
hard.
of this stuff goes.
So much of what's been going on lately is just, and it's, I will say it's, I am proud of myself because I've learned not to fall for the bait as much, you know, like, or at least to recognize when I'm starting to take the bait and be like, ha, you almost got me. Just in terms of, not, it's like, these stories don't matter. Like, yeah, I get that people are enraged, but it really doesn't matter. Like, it's, in the grand scheme of things, if this was the thing that made you cross the line, go fuck yourself. Like, whatever it is at this point, it doesn't even matter. Whatever it is, like you've had so many opportunities.
There's so many things to riff on, but it's not. You're right. I think you're right. Like I don't know. I'm not amused anymore. It's like the Pope. That's what you're doing. Like, okay, like
Yep.
whatever. So, yeah, I don't want to do it because there's so like we'll be here for like 6 hours, and
Thanks for checking out the Chris and Andre Show. This is the part where we ask you to like and subscribe. You could also leave a comment and share this with someone you think would find useful. For more content like this, head on over to chrisandandreshow.com. Remember, stay sane, stay safe, and stay salty. We'll see you on the next one.